Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be doing a review for Ali Hazelwood's book, Love Theoretically. This is the third standalone book in the Love Hypothesis series. I rate this book 4 stars, but before we get into the book, if you have not seen my last video about our book club announcement, our book club will be having a live discussion, which is something new. We're doing our book club for the first time. We will be doing our live discussion on August the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And the book we will be discussing is The Reunion by Kayla Olson. You can find this book wherever books are sold. You can also find this book at your local library. And if you don't have time to go to the library in person, you can download the app called Libby, which is a library app. It is free to use. All you have to do to get access to your library is put your library card in. And there you have the library at your fingertips. So our book club book for August will be The Reunion by Kayla Olson. Now let's get into Love Theoretically. Let me read you the synopsis of this book. The reigning queen of STEM romance. Rival physicists collide in a vortex of academic feuds and fake dating shenanigans. In this delightful STEMic rom-com from New York Times best-selling author of The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain, the many lives of theoretical physicist Easley has finally caught up with her. By day, she's an adjunct professor, toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermodynamics in hopes of landing tenure. By other day, Easley makes up for her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skill to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. Honestly, it's a pretty sweet gig until her carefully constructed Elsie version comes crashing down because of Jack Smith, the annoyingly attractive, arrogant older brother of her favorite client. Turns out to be the cold-hearted experimentalist physicist who ruins her mentor's career, undermines the reputation of theorists everywhere. And he's the same Jack Smith who rules over the physics department at MIT, standing right between Elsie and her dream job. Elsie is prepared for an all-out war of scholarly sabotage, those long, penetrating looks not having to be anything other than her true self when she's with him. Will falling for the experimentalist's orbit finally tempt her to put her most guarded theories about love into practice? Okay, so like I said, I rate this book 4 stars. I have read Ali Hazelwood before, and I really didn't care for Love on the Brain. It was an okay book, but it wasn't my favorite. I'll be doing a video comparing Love on the Brain to Love Theoretically soon. But Love Theoretically I loved. It combines my favorite trope: fake dating, STEM, science. It had everything I loved. And it was good from the start. Like, I was hooked when I found out that Elsie worked for this fake dating company, but she also was a theoretical physicist and had a PhD. You would think that Elsie would have a job mainly focused on either teaching or research, but that's not the case because Easley is an adjunct. And this book taught me what an adjunct is. It is a professor that teaches multiple courses for a little bit of money, and they don't have the option of job security. They don't get job security until you reach what is called tenure. But Easley really doesn't like teaching. She wants to only do research, and she wants to do her research on liquid crystals. But the thing is, she's offered this job to work at MIT where she would only have to teach one class and the rest of the time she can focus on research. But the big thing in this book is the theoretical physicists versus the experimental physicists. A theoretical physicist has theories that they're trying to prove, and experimental actually does experiments to prove scientific things. And there's this big debate over which one is better, all because of this guy named Jack Smith. He's a professor at MIT, and at one point in his life he wrote this article that got published in this big science journal, sort of kind of disproving things that theorists believe and making them all look bad, so now nobody trusts them. But he's also on the committee for Easley to get this job at MIT, and he's the head of the physics department at MIT. But you can see that Easley's double life with her fake dating job and her being a physicist, her worlds are actually going to collide in some way. That's where Jack's brother becomes involved. You'll have to read to see how their worlds collide. But the thing about Easley is she's only doing this fake dating thing because she needs the money because she doesn't make a lot of money, and her job doesn't cover health insurance, and Easley has diabetes, so she has to pay for her medication out of pocket. But the thing about Easley that you'll see throughout the book is that she's a people pleaser. She doesn't know how to be herself, and I think that's one reason why she enjoys fake dating a little bit, because she can read other people. She knows how to morph herself into what other people want her to be. And her being able to do that stems from her childhood and something that her parents said to her, or she overheard her parents saying. So she came up with the idea of the only way I can be a less burden to people is by being what they want to be and pleasing them, never defying them, never saying no, and anything like that. But when she meets Jack and she's interviewing with Jack, and Jack realizes he knows her. He can read Easley, but Easley can't read Jack. That's why they butt heads all the time. And Jack wants Easley to be real, but she doesn't know how to do that because she's such a people pleaser and used to putting on this persona and being what everybody else wants her to be instead of being herself. But I can see, based upon what she overheard her parents saying, I can see why she is the way she is, which makes me dislike her, but I also like her. I know it's very confusing that I can like a character and dislike them at the same time, but Easley is that one character for me that I like and dislike. I like her because she proves that women can be smart, have a career, and have PhDs and still have a life. And I like her because she knows what it takes to make other people happy, but I dislike her is because she puts everybody else's needs before herself. She's so consumed with people liking her, it kind of makes her unlikable because people don't know the real her. And that's why I dislike her. I dislike Jack too, but I like him because he makes Easley be herself. But I dislike him for the way he went about it. I won't get into that, but I'll let you read that. And he's not as perfect or as honest as he thinks he is. So that makes me not like him. I know this is the third book in the Love Hypothesis standalone series, but I think there needs to be a part 2. There needs to be another part to the Jack Easley story. Even though there's an epilogue in this book, I think there's more that could happen with Jack and Easley. And the whole fake dating thing, it makes you think about the pressures that people put on other people to be in a relationship, to be married, to settle down, to have kids. Because why else would you want to have a fake date? Because you don't want people to ask you, when are you getting married, when are you going to settle down, when are you going to have kids. So the fake dating thing makes sense in that construct, but it's also a lot hard to keep up a persona when it's not actually you, to the point to where you kind of forget who you are if you always have to be a people pleaser like Easley. And Jack, he's been hurt by so many different things that he can't understand that everyone is not going to be so automatically open when they meet you for the first time. So you learn a lot of different things about the pressure people put on other people, the pressure that people put on themselves, what it's like to have a career but not have love at the same time, what it's like to choose love over your career, and when is the day gonna come that men and women can be equal in whatever career field they choose to be in? When is that going to become a thing? Like, it is 2023 and that's still not a thing where women and men can be in the same career and be valued and respected equally, especially in the STEM world, because men kind of rule physics right now. They've always ruled physics, but then it makes you question, why are men in physics so threatened by women that may know more than them, may be smarter, or just have ideas? What happened to the collaboration? Like, I get people want all these accolades, but to step on other people's toes or steal their ideas so you can look like the one you had them is just wrong. There's so many people in this book that bother me because of the whole men think they're superior to women, but then I understand why these people are the way they are, so it's very conflicting. But this is a good book. I think you will be hooked from chapter 1, and I will say there are some spicy and intimate scenes. They're towards the end of the book, so if you don't like spicy and intimate scenes in books and you've ever not read about them, I would say read a closed door romance where there aren't spicy scenes, if spicy and intimate scenes bother you. But in this book, the spicy and intimate scenes are closer to the end of the book. And last thing, our book club book for August is The Reunion by Kayla Olson. You can find it in your library. You can find it wherever books are sold. And our book club discussion will be Friday, August the 11th at 7 p.m. The live is already posted on my channel, so you can just turn on the notification bell and set your reminder for when the discussion will be. I really did enjoy Ali Hazelwood's book. You learn a lot about the dynamics of people. Remember, I'm always thinking of you. Sending my love. And bye for now. Colin is a siren bound to serve the ocean by luring humans to their watery grave with her voice, which is deadly to any human who hears it. Easley is a human, a kind, handsome boy who's everything Colin ever dreamed of. Falling in love puts them both in danger, but will Colin risk everything to follow her heart? This star-crossed YA romance is sure to captivate readers who grew up loving The Little Mermaid or fans of Jennifer Donnelly, The Water Fire Saga. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be doing the review for Kiera Cass's book called Siren. I have read Kiera Cass in the past. I have read the first 3 books in the Selection series. I do plan on finishing the Selection series by the end of the year. There are 3 more books in the Selection series, but I was searching through the library for the past couple of weeks and this book kept sticking out to me, so I got it from the library and I read it. This book is a YA romance / fantasy, and this book will give you total Little Mermaid vibe. This book is 352 pages long and it's 7 hours long by audio. So this book starts off with a family on a cruise, and then the boat crashes and everybody's screaming for help and trying to save themselves, and this girl named Colin yells out, "I don't want to die," and the ocean saves her, but that comes at a price. And the price of the ocean saving Colin is Colin being turned into a siren. A siren is sort of kind of a mermaid, but not really. It's a mermaid that sort of works for the ocean. By when the ocean calls, it sings, but the singing is deadly to others to lure people to a watery death. And for Colin's life to be saved, she has to be turned into a siren. And a siren's job lasts for 100 years. And Colin accepts that job so she can live, but the humans in the world don't know she's a siren, and she's lost all her family, and she knows if she spends 100 years as a siren, she will live, and then she will go back to being 19, because 19 is when she died on the boat. And she has siren sisters. We meet 4 of them, and they all have unique stories of how they became sirens and what their past life was like. Very interesting. But Colin specifically is different than all the other sirens because she wants love. She wants to fall in love, and she's thinking about when she's done with her 100 years of being a siren and she falls in love. What would her life be like at 19 again? But while they're traveling around doing the siren thing, they are living in Miami Beach, and Colin visits this college. Yes, sirens can walk on land and they can breathe in the ocean. That's why I said they're sort of kind of like mermaids, and the people can see them. Like, they can have human interactions, but they can't use their voice because their voice will be deadly and it will make a person go into the ocean. They will be under a spell. She meets this guy named Easley. He thinks that Colin is a mute. He doesn't know that she's a siren, and he finds it fascinating that she uses sign language or ASL to communicate with him because she can't use her voice. And they meet. He wants to take her out on a date. She says no. But then eventually along the lines, they go out on this date. It was a great date, but then Colin thinks about her siren sisters and I can't fall in love with this guy, but even though she already feels these things, she still has 100 years of being a siren, and her job is to the ocean. The ocean is like her mother now, but she falls for him anyway. And throughout the book, you see them go different places because Colin is trying to escape her love. We get introduced to new sirens as well, but Colin's heart keeps pulling her back to Easley because she left him after their first date. All they did was bake a cake together and have a conversation. He really finds her intriguing. He feels as though this is his soulmate. Their souls are attached by then, but she leaves him. And then eventually she comes back. It's like a push-pull sort of thing. But then something happens to Colin when she's with Akira that makes her speak. And then that's when the spell comes in, because when she speaks, he's automatically lured to the ocean, and the ocean takes him, and she begs for his life to save him. She knows she's made a mistake, and the ocean says, well, I'll save him, but now you have to give me 50 more years of being a siren. And she's unhappy, but she does it to save him. Because when she started out as a siren, she was 19, and then she's still gonna be 19, they don't age. But she started out as 19, and then 80 years passed, and she's still 19 when Easley comes into her life. It's been 80 years later, so she would only have 20 years left of being a siren. But when she meets him and he gets lured into the ocean gives her 50 more years for being disobedient. So now she has 70 more years when she was down to 20. And she goes back to living her life, doing her job, but she ends up getting sick. And then some more things happen that I will leave, but her sickness is caused by missing her love, and then she finds out that her love is sick. So it's sort of kind of like, because they can't be together, they are sick. So the only way to save themselves is for them to be together. But I find the most interesting character in this book to be the ocean, because the ocean controls it all. She controls the life of the sirens that the ocean believes in. Yes, I'm talking like the ocean is a person, because the sirens hear the ocean as if the ocean is a person. She loves them and takes care of them like they are her children, even though she only gets 100 years with them, and then they go off to have a normal life, but they have no memories of ever being a siren. But the ocean remembers everything, and the ocean has such a deep attachment to the sirens that she loves them, but she doesn't always treat them the greatest. And then letting them go is hard for her. So the book becomes, how can I love you and still give you what you want, what you need, what you desire? And it's this push and pull of, I still want you to love me, but I feel as though you can't love me and love somebody else at the same time. I don't want your love for me to disappear and you forget all about me because you love somebody else. And that is seen time and time again throughout these girls' stories. And some of the sirens had great childhoods, and some of them had bad childhoods that they are willing to stay a siren, so they don't care how many rules they break. But in Colin's case, she had a loving family, a mom, 2 brothers, and a dad, and she lost them all. Kinley, he's a human. He had a loving family, but he lost them too because of tragedy, and that's what they relate on without speaking for a majority of the book. They don't speak. She communicates by writing on a whiteboard, and she signs, and he's picking up on this, but they relate over tragedy and loss, but he really can't know her because she only has certain memories of being a human because she's now a siren. And even if she's no longer a siren, she will, when she goes back to being human, she will pretty much have no memory of her siren life. I will not tell you if they get together or how their story ends. I'm gonna leave that surprise for you, but I found this book to be powerful in the idea of how far would a person go for love? What does loving a person actually mean? Does it mean loving them and holding on to them as tight as you can because you're afraid if you don't hold on to them, they will stop loving you? Or is it letting them go, letting them live, and hoping and praying that they still love you and will keep that loving, communicating relationship with you, even though they're not in your space or in your presence 24 hours a day? So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to be doing a book review for Farrah Roshan's book called The Boyfriend Project. The Boyfriend Project is a romance book, which romance is my favorite genre to read. I would rate The Boyfriend Project 5 stars. This book had me in my feelings because I enjoyed all the girl power, the self-discovery in the book, and owning your stuff. Like owning it, focusing on yourself, but also not being afraid to say, I might have the career I want, I might have the lifestyle I want, but I also want to share my life with someone. Now, The Boyfriend Project starts off with our main character, Samaya Brooks, getting ready to go on a date. Her sister is over her house helping her get ready for this, but her sister is scrolling on Twitter, and she comes across this woman who is complaining about her date on Twitter, talking about the restaurant the man took her to, and all of these different things. And Samaya's thinking in the back of the head, what she is describing sounds familiar. Even the guy she's describing sounds familiar. And then Samaya realizes that her boyfriend Craig is out on a date with this woman after he said he had to move their date because he had some work he needed to catch up. So she asks her sister, where's the restaurant? And come to find out, it is a restaurant that's right down the street from Samaya's house. So Samaya decides, I'm going to go confront this dude. So as she's confronting the dude, he's sitting with this woman, and then she sees another woman walking in confronting Craig too. None of these 3 women know that he's dating all of them at the same time, and as they're confronting him about dating all 3 of them at the same time, people in the restaurant is recording this. So the confronting ends up going viral on YouTube. So these women decide they're gonna leave Craig and they just gonna go hang out for the night. And this is how their friendship starts. All because they found out they were dating the same man. So the 2 other women that we meet are Taylor in London. Taylor is a trainer and a fitness influencer, and London is a pediatric surgeon. So throughout the book, they hang out every Friday just to talk and chat. And they come up with this pact that they're making. It's called The Boyfriend Project, hence the title of the book. They decide that they're going to elevate themselves and get ready for the next step in their career, but also be ready for if the next man comes along. And they decide to keep this boyfriend project up for 6 months. Now, Samaya decides that she's going to take time for herself, but she changes her mind because she's working on an app. Samaya is a software engineer. She's working on an app. You have to read the book to find out what the app is about, and is the app going to be completed. Taylor decides she's going to work on her training business, getting her name out there and becoming a bigger influence. Since London is a doctor, she decides that she's going to take 6 months to herself, date herself, get to know herself, and also get ready for her class reunion. And Taylor also has something to prove to her parents, and she wants to prove to them that her going the influencer route and being a trainer is a good decision, and she wants to do this by Thanksgiving. So throughout the book, you see as Amaya is working in the software engineer career, you can see how smart she is, how determined she is, and she feels as though she has a weight on her shoulders because she is African American, she's a woman, and these two things you do not see a lot in the tech industry, and she's trying to make it better for the women that's going to come up behind her. But then she meets this guy, Daniel, and she feels as though she can't date Daniel because she's made this pact with Taylor in London about the boyfriend project, but they tell her to go for it, but also don't forget about her app. Don't stop focusing on that just because you meet a man. Her and Daniel do have chemistry, but they also work. So a workplace romance is not what Samaya had in mind. And Daniel, he has some secrets himself. So to find out Daniel's secrets, you have to read about that. But this book is all about finding love, working on yourself, self-discovery, unexpected friendship, girl power. The book does a good job of balancing humor and emotional depth. It has the right amount of tension and conflicts to keep you invested and makes you want to root for all the characters in the book. And what I really liked about it was the girl power. The girl power really drew me in because sometimes when you find out that your significant other has cheated on you, the first person you want to blame is not the significant other. You want to blame the person on the opposite side because you feel as though your first jump to conclusion is that you knew that this person had a significant other and it's your fault. But that's not always the case. And I like that these women did not assume that all of them knew about each other, and they place their blame on Craig because it is Craig is the one who's dating all three of them at the same time, giving them different stories. Now, how smart can you be if you telling all of these women your name is Craig, but you gave each woman a different last name? I like that they didn't blame each other and they built a friendship, whether it was unexpected or not, because they all had this one thing in common and they really have been supportive of each other, and they were mostly impressed with themselves, even though they had been dating Craig, that they did not be intimate with him, and in the end they were glad that they were not. So I do think this is a book that all of you would enjoy. But there are 2 more books in the series of The Boyfriend Project. I did pick up the second book. I do not have the third one yet, and I am reading the second book in this trilogy. And the second book in this trilogy focuses on Taylor, who is the fitness influencer. Her name is Taylor Powell. So the second book primarily focuses on her, and it's called The Dating Playbook. I did get The Boyfriend Project from Book of the Month. Yes, Book of the Month now has audiobook, so I did use one of my credits to get The Boyfriend Project on audio. I got the dating book plan off of Amazon, and the last book in the series is called The Hookup Plan, and that book focuses on London. So let me know if you planned on reading The Boyfriend Project. Is it something that you are interested in? If you have read it, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to be doing a book review for Farrah Rochon's book called The Dating Playbook. This is the second book in the Boyfriend Project series. If you want to know what the Boyfriend Project is about, which is the first book in the series, please check out my Boyfriend Project review, which is up on my channel now, to understand how we meet the main character in the Dating Project, which is, her name is Taylor Powell. Please check out my Boyfriend Project review, which I will have linked in the description box, and I will have it linked up in the card. Now, as I said, the Dating Playbook focuses on Taylor Powell. Taylor Powell is a fitness instructor. She does boot camp style fitness workout, and she's also a semi-workout fitness influencer. This book starts off with Taylor in a lot of debt because she just lost her job, and her client that are under her business, Taylor Conditioning, they're not bringing in as much money for her as she would need to sustain her lifestyle. So she decides to put up a impromptu workout class. She promotes it on Facebook, and she has it in a park, and she charges like $10 for people to come to this session. And in this session, she meets this football player named Jamar Dixon, and the story takes place in Texas. If you know anything about Texas, you know Texas is known for its high school football. They have a lot of fans. They are very football centric. In Austin, Texas, Katy, Texas, different parts of Texas. And Jamar wants to hire Taylor as his fitness instructor because he wants to get back into the NFL. He got hurt. He messed up his knee, and the doctors told Jamar he would never play again because if he gets hit in the knee, he would most likely not walk again. So he hires Taylor, and their business relationship turns into a romantic relationship. And the thing about Jamar is he has reasons to why it is very important for him to get back into the NFL. He's not just doing it for himself, but his grief and guilt is motivating him to get back into the NFL. And the thing about Taylor, she doesn't care that Jamar is this high school athlete that had this promising career in the NFL. She didn't even know that he was the promising high school athlete, and everywhere he goes, people recognize him. Now, her friend Samaya, who we met in the Boyfriend Project, and Samaya was the main character of the Boyfriend Project, she's from Texas. She's from Houston, Texas. So she knew who Jamar was when Taylor brought him up in conversation. But Taylor's not originally from Texas. She grew up in Germany and she moved around a lot because her dad's in the army, and her family's home base now, once her dad kind of figured out where he wanted to live as a home base, even though he's still in the army, her family's from North Carolina. So Taylor's world gets turned upside down by Jamar because she has this thing that she's attracted to him, but she doesn't want to date a client because of her past experiences. The one thing I love about this book is the way the author challenges the modern woman when it comes to dating. She tackles issues like ghosting, online dating, the pressure to settle down, but it's all done with a good sense of humor. And that's the thing about Taylor. She wants a man, but she knows she doesn't need a man. And Taylor learns after losing her job, it might be best for her to go get her degree in fitness and nutrition, but Taylor's never really liked school and she's always struggled with school. But when meeting Jamar notices things about Taylor, like when she reads out loud. When she's thinking about things, how she gets off track. He sees similarities in Taylor compared to his best friend Silas, and he convinces Taylor to get tested for learning disabilities, and Taylor comes to realize that there's really nothing wrong with her, but she does come to realize that she has a learning disability, all because of Jamar. And as they work on getting Jamar into the NFL, or back into the NFL, they come to realize that they like each other because they have a love for fitness. Taylor finds out that she can be herself with Jamar, and the reason they technically get together is because Jamar doesn't want the world to know that he's getting back or trying to get back into the NFL, so they lied to a reporter. So they're kind of like fake dating to start off, hence the title, The Dating Playbook. So they come up with all these rules that they have to follow, and that creates the dating playbook. One of the quotes that stood out to me from the book is, "Love isn't always convenient. Sometimes it's messy and inconvenient and takes a lot of work." This quote encapsulates the theme of the book, the journey that Taylor and Jamar go on to navigate their relationship, because Jamar is hiding a secret too, because he wants to support his best friend's family because he feels guilty. I won't tell you what happens to Jamar's best friend. That's something you have to read. I will not spoil that for you, but he feels as though he has to live out his dream to please his friend Silas. Even though Jamar has a degree that he can fall back on. He has a degree in marketing, and his agency is offering him a job as a sports agent. So even if he doesn't get back into the NFL, he has a degree to fall back on. Overall, I would rate this book 4 stars because I feel like this book was great, seeing how Taylor and Jamar's relationship developed. But the thing that was missing for me in this book was I wanted to see more of Taylor, Samaya, and London's friendship. I wanted to see it developed a little bit more. You do hear from them throughout the book. Like, they still have their weekly girls' nights, so they are there, and you hear about how Samaya and Daniel's relationship, which we learned in The Boyfriend Project, which was the first book in the series, you still hear how their relationship is going to develop and how their friendship is developing. But there was just something that focused on the 3 of them and not just Taylor, even though this book is primarily about Taylor. That part was missing for me, so I would rate it 4 stars. I would describe the dating book as a contemporary romance with strong, relatable female protagonists and a diverse cast of characters. It is fun, a heartfelt read that will leave you feeling optimistic about love. So let me know down in the comments, have you read the dating book? Let me know down in the comments, have you read the Dating Book Project? Let me know down in the comments, have you read the Dating Book? Let me know down in the comments, have you read the Dating Playbook? Have you read the Boyfriend Project? And also, there is a third book in this series that focuses on London. It's called The Hookup Plan. I will be reading the third book in the series eventually. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be doing the book review for Colleen Hoover's book, It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us is a part of a 2-book series. The second book in the series is called It Starts With Us. It Starts With Us is out now. It Starts With Us came out October the 18th. So if you read It Ends With Us and you didn't know that there was a part 2, there is. It's called It Starts With Us, and it came out October the 18th. You can find the second book anywhere books are sold. But It Starts With Us. The first thing I will say is please read the trigger warnings for that book before you read it. It deals with a lot of physical trauma and emotional trauma, and a lot of the characters in the book had traumatic childhood. But it is a 5-star read. So please read the trigger warnings before you pick up the book. The back of the book says, sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life that she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She's graduated from college and moved to Boston and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with the gorgeous neurosurgeon Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, and maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing, as questions about her new relationship overwhelms her. So do the thoughts of Atlas courting her first love and a link to the path she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It Ends With Us is an unforgettable tale of love that comes at the ultimate price. Okay. This book is a romance book. This book, I cried a lot. I was angry because it made me question if we experience any type of trauma in our lives and we work so hard as we grow up to not repeat those same things, how is it sometimes we run into repeating the same trauma that we work so hard to remove and get away from as adults? Lily, who's our main character, she has a very traumatic childhood with her parents, and she is so determined not to repeat that she falls into a situation to where she learns that it's not always easy to get yourself out of certain situations. Lily writes to Ellen DeGeneres. So her diary entries, as she's looking back and reading her diary, you learn all about her traumatic childhood. And you meet her childhood friend, her childhood kindred spirit. You meet Atlas. Her and Atlas bond because of their predicament, their situation. I won't get into that either. But Atlas is an interesting character. He's a heartbreaking character because of his situation. But I also like Atlas because of his determination. And he's determined to not let his situation determine his future. He wants better for himself. So I like Atlas. Ryle is the neurosurgeon that Lily meets in Boston. He is a broken person. He goes through something traumatic in his life that shapes his attitude. And he's determined to be not only the best at what he does, he's determined to be better, but he just don't know how to get there. Ryle and Lily's relationship, how that comes to be and how that starts, it's like a whirlwind because they meet on a rooftop. After Lily's long day and Ryle's long day, and they're both trying to get over their emotional situations from the day. And they have this deep, raw, real, honest conversation that's going to be important to the story. They tell so many truths in this opening meeting that you wouldn't think anybody would have enough heart to tell the stranger that much personal information about themselves and also the bright futures that they see for themselves. But the most beautiful thing that comes out of this story is the relationship and the way Lily sees her mom now that Lily has more life experience. And you're probably like, Jasmine, you're being vague. Yes, I am being vague because I don't want to spoil the story for you. And I'm also being vague about it because I know how deep the trigger warnings go in this book. And I don't want to trigger anyone if I say certain things about this book. But if you are in a book club, this is a book that I feel is great for a book club, even though it has trigger warnings, is because you get the perspectives you're gonna get from reading it, not only from yourself, but listening to how other people might handle the situations in this book if they were in the characters' positions. Will shock you. Because when I first read the book, I was like, no, I would not let this happen. If it happened, walk away. That's how I felt. I would walk away. But the more I read and the more I listened to why people think the way they think, why they stay in certain situations, it changed my mind. It didn't change my mind of what I would do in the situation as far as walk away, but it did make me understand why people stay. What drives people to stay in the situation. And then forgiveness in itself plays a part in it because you have to forgive yourself for being in the situation, and then you have to forgive the person that caused in the situation. I still don't really have an answer to the question that I've been asking myself since I read it. How do we repeat our emotional traumas when we work so hard to get out of them and to stay away from them? We can recognize them enough, but how do we recognize them to the point of where we know, be confident in ourselves, that we won't fall into the same patterns that once hurt us and caused trauma? I'm still asking myself that question because I don't know the answer to that. Because you might say you would do one thing like I just said. When I think about it, on one hand, based off of the situation in this book and how it went down, I would have been like, the first time it happened, I would have been out. But then I think when you love a person, do you stay because you love the person and you're hoping the person can change? But then you have the other hand and the other thought on your mind that people You hear the saying that you can't make a person change, you only can change yourself. And the first thing I think of is the Serenity Prayer when reading this book, because the Serenity Prayer, I am paraphrasing, I'm not giving you the whole prayer here. It tells you to grant the serenity to accept the things you cannot change and the wisdom to know the difference. There's more to the prayer, but the Serenity Prayer comes to mind when I think about the situation. And then to see how much kind of resentment Lily had for her mother based off of the situation when Lily was a child, and then to see Lily in the same situation as her mother and learning that her mother made the best decision with the information she was given and the way she felt about the situation, but at the end of the day her mother helped her to make her own decision whether to stay or go. This book questions a lot of things we think we know about people, situations, and how judgmental we can possibly be sometimes if we're on the outside looking in. There is one passage in the book that stands out to me that I cannot read on camera because it is triggering and I don't want to do that. But it is on page 322 and it happens during the conversation with Lily and her mother after Lily's trying to make her decision on what to do about her own situation. She goes to her mother. What I like most about this book is that nothing in this book was sugarcoat. It was open. It was honest. It was real. It was powerful. It was heartbreaking, heartwarming, and all of those things. And if it sounds like I'm crying behind this camera, I kind of am because it's something you see so often. This is not something that you would want to see happen to anyone, but you can, after reading this book, you can understand how people fall into these situations, whether it's from generational past or just meeting someone on a roof. In Lily's case, it happened to the generation before, and she also met this person on a roof. And even though they had a real, open, and truthful conversation when they first met, she still had to peel back the layers to find out why was the person she met this way, and they had to tell some naked truths along the way. You'll understand what I mean by that when you read the book. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you. Sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to be doing the book review for It Starts With Us, which is the second book in the Colleen Hoover series, It Ends With Us. I already have a review for It Ends With Us up on my channel, so I will have it linked up in the card and down in the description box. So if you want to know what's going on, I suggest you watch that video first before you watch this one, because It Starts With Us picked up directly where It Ends With Us ends off. So I would rate It Starts With Us 4 stars. I think it was cute how Lily and Atlas' story picked up and ended. Also, this book is duo point of view, so that means you get one chapter from Lily's perspective and then another chapter from Atlas's perspective, which I really like that because I like seeing the same story from the sides of different characters, because you always see that not everybody sees the same situation the same way, and I find that makes the books more interesting and more appealing to me. What I'll say about Lily is that she is one strong woman. Atlas, he's also a strong man. The way they have dealt with their childhood trauma and the people they became based off of their childhood is a miracle and a half. This book has a lot of letter writing in it. between Lily and Atlas. And we can't forget about Ryle. I'll say Ryle has a lot of work to do. He's still growing. He's still got to go through some growing pains. But Atlas and Lily, they're strong individuals. Even though Atlas finds out some family secrets along the way, he's one strong individual for what he takes on, while also being there for Lily. He's been not only Lily's friend, but Lily's confidant, her lover, but also he knows no matter what's happened, he just wants her to be happy. And Lily, she's doing the best she can with the situation she's in, and she really puts her daughter first. Now, if you know anything about Lily's story, I won't fill in those blanks for you because you have to read. It ends with us first to know how Lily got to where she is, and it starts with us. This book can be triggering, but it is not as triggering as it ends with us. But you still get all the same emotional feels of happiness and sadness, but then you also see a lot of growth. And I think the growth from it ends with us to where it starts with us is phenomenal. And it makes you think about second chances. It makes you think about picking yourself up off the ground after you've been knocked down. It makes you think about determination and always knowing what you deserve and not settling for less than what you deserve. It's really about you knowing your value and what you bring to the table. You knowing that even if somebody tries to break your self-esteem, once you're out of the situation and you move on, yes, it's going to be difficult, but you find the strength to build yourself back up when somebody is trying, or someone has broken you, or something has broken you. Doing what's best for yourself when you are broken is not self. You deserve better. You deserve to be happy. And no person, relationship, family can make you feel whole. The only person that can make you feel whole is yourself. And I think the book does a good job of showing you can come from something hard and something sad and something broken. But even though you're broken, when you put those pieces back together, you are beautiful. You are the masterpiece of your own design because you put in the work to make your life better. And sometimes generational curses come, but it's up to you to break that cycle. And I really believe that Lily has broken the cycle in her family. I believe Atlas has broken the cycle in his family. And they're determined not to repeat the same mistakes of their past. Are they fully healed from their past? No. Are there still going to be moments where something's going to trigger them and they think about their past? Oh, sure. But are they better equipped to navigate and still remain happy and focus on the future when those moments creep back in? Absolutely. The one thing that stood out to me in this book were all the letters between Atlas and Lily. I feel like Atlas really broke out of his shell because Atlas kept everything close to his chest because of what he's been through. But with Lily, he was not only open with her, he was also open with himself about his feelings and the things that he experienced for the first time. And the letters he wrote were beautiful. I think the letter that stands out to me the most starts on page 294. It's the letter where he tells her about the first time he knew that he loved her. Okay, I'm going to spoil this letter for you. So if you don't want to know what the letter says, click off the video now. Dear Lily, I don't know if you're aware of the date, but we have officially been dating for half a year. Do people celebrate half a year anniversary? I would have gotten you flowers, but I don't like to make the florist work too hard. I decided to give you this note instead. They say there are two sides to every story. I've read a couple of stories of yours that even though they happened the way you say they did, I had an entirely different experience. You kind of brushed over the moment in your journey, even though I know it meant enough for you to get a tattoo. But I'm not sure you're aware how that moment meant to me. You say our first kiss happened on your bed, but that's not the one I count as our first kiss. Our first kiss happened on a Monday in the middle of the day. It was the time I got sick and you took care of me. You noticed I was ill as soon as I crawled through your window. I remember you taking immediate action. You gave me medicine, water, and blanket, and forced me to sleep on your bed. I don't remember being sicker than that in my entire life. I do believe you witnessed the most awful day I have ever lived. And I've lived through some awful days. But when you're in it, they seem to be nothing worse in the moment than a horrible stomach bug. I don't remember a lot of that night. I remember your hands though. Your hands were always near me, either checking my temperature or wiping my face with a rag or holding my shoulders steady while I repeatedly had to fold over the side of your bed throughout the night. That's what I remember. Your hand. You had a light pink polish on. I remember the name of the color because I had been with you when you were painting your nails. It was called Surprise Lily. You told me you picked it because of the name. I could barely open my eyes, but every time I did, there were your slender helping hand with your surprise lily fingernail holding up my water bottle, feeding me medicine, and tracing my jaw. Yes, I remember that moment, even though you didn't write about it. After being ill for hours, I remember waking up or at least becoming aware of my surroundings. My head was pounding and my mouth was parched. My eyelids were too heavy to open, but I felt your breath on my cheek. Your fingertips were on my jaw, and you traced them all the way down my chin. I thought I believed that I couldn't touch you, watch you, but I had never felt than I did in that moment. It was exactly the moment when I realized that I loved you. I kinda hated realize that moment in that moment. It was that exact moment that I realized I loved. I kind of hated realizing something that monument in the middle of such a shitty day. But it hit me so hard, I thought I was crying for the first time. I didn't know what to do with my, but man, Lily, I had gone my whole life not knowing what love felt. I didn't have the love a mother and a son should have, or a father, son, or until now, I never spent that kind of time with anyone unrelated to me, especially a girl. Not long enough to truly get to know a girl, or for them to get to know, or for us to connect and deepen that connection. And then for that girl proved to be caring and helpful and kind and worried and everything that words. I'm not even saying it was that moment I realized I was in love. It was the first moment I realized I loved anything, anyone ever. It was the first time my heart had ever reacted, at least in a positive way. People have done things in my past that made my heart shrink, but it never expanded like that. When your fingers were trickling over my chin like a soft drop of rain, I thought my heart was going well so big my pop. I pretended to slowly wake up in that moment. I put my arms over my eyes, quick pulled my head back. I remember craning my neck and looking at your window, seeing if it was light outside. It almost was, so I started to pull myself out of your bed, pretending not to know you were awake. You set up an act and I had to swallow before I could get my voice work. It barely did. I said something like, your parents, you told me you were going to come back about. I nodded without thinking because I was still sick, but I had to get out of your bedroom before I did some to embarrass myself. I didn't trust the feelings that was buzzing beneath my skin. It was creating burning look at you and say, I love you. It's funny how as soon as you feel love for the first time, suddenly have you desire profess. The words felt like they were forming right. The words felt like they were forming right out of my chest, though I was weaker than I'd probably ever. I had never lifted your window and crawled out of bed. I shouted and flattened my back in the old wall of your house and exhaled. My breath turned to fog, and I closed my eyes. After the worst 8 hours of life, somehow I cracked a smile. I thought about love the rest of the morning, even after you came back to get once your parents gone, and I spent even after you came back once your parents gone, and I several hours at your house. I was thinking about love when your surprise lily fingernail would flash across my line of sight every time you checked my temperature. I think about love every time you walk into your room and adjusted the cover, tucking them under my chin. I think about love. And when I finally started feeling a little better around lunchtime, I stood in the shower dehydrated from being sick, yet I somehow felt like I was standing the tallest I ever had. The whole morning and into the rest of the day, I knew something significant had happened. For the first time, I had a flicker of what I knew life be. Before that moment, I never gave much thought to falling in love or having a family or even having the idea of cultivating a success. Life to me had always felt like a burden I had to bear. Something heavy and murky that made wake up cold and falling asleep a little bit scary. That's because I had gone 18 years without knowing what it felt like to care about someone so much. You want them to be the first thing you see open your eyes. I even felt a desire, something of myself, because you were the first person I ever wanted to come something better for. That was the day we laid on your couch together. You told me you wanted me to watch your favorite cartoon. It was the first time you had ever snuggled up your back to my chest as laid under with your arms wrapped over. It was hard to focus television words I love you still prickling there, way up in my throat, and I didn't want to say it. Couldn't say it because I didn't want it was fast or that these words held no weight for me. They were the heaviest damn thing I ever carried. But I think about that day so much, Lily. I have no idea felt, but I think about that day so much. I have no idea felt that what love feels like for everyone, like an airplane that just fell in the sky, crashed right through. Because most they have love seeping in and out their whole life. They were born wrapped in it, and they go through their whole child protected by it, and they have in their lives that welcome their love in return. So I'm not sure it hits people like it hit me in one small moment in such a colossal way. You were wearing a t-shirt I love. It was big for you, and the sleeve was always falling off shoulder. I should have been watching cartoon, but I stopped staring at that stretch of exposed neck and your shoulder. As I looked at it, I once again felt that incredible say I love you, and the words were right there on top, right there on the tip of my tongue. So I leaned forward and pressed them against your chin, and that where they stayed hidden quiet till I worked up courage them out loud to you later. I have no idea. I had no idea you remember that kiss or all the time I've kissed in that spot after that day. Even when I read in your journal, you rushed past in a hurry to get to what you considered our actual kiss. So I had no idea that it meant everything to you till the moment I saw your tattoo. I can't tell you what that means, knowing that our heart placed in every spot where I once secretly buried the words I love. I want you to promise me something. When you look at that tattoo, I don't want you to spell anything other than the words I've written letter. Every time I kiss you there, I want you to remember why I kissed you there. The first love, discovering it, giving it, receiving it, falling in it, living in it, leaving for it. I write this letter while I sit on the floor of Josh's bed. My experience with Josh tonight is kind of what sparked my memory. He's sick with a stomach bug. Maybe not as I was the day I first realized I loved him, but very sick nonetheless. He caught it from Theo, who had it a few days. I've never taken care of a person before, so I have no medicine at all. I think I'm about to make a farmer's run. I might slip the letter under your apartment door on the way. It isn't fun taking care of a person. The sound, the smell, the lack of sleep is actually almost bad per caring. Every time I check his temperature or force drink water, I think about how cared with such gentle parental intent. I'm trying to reciprocate that in my care for Josh, but I don't think I'm as good at this as you were. You were so young, just a older than Josh now, but I'm sure you felt much older. I know I did, even though we had, hello, what, okay. We've been through things no kid should ever have been. It makes me wonder if Josh feels age or if he feels older than he should because of all he's been. I want him to feel young for as long as he can. I want to enjoy time. I want him to know what love is long before I do. And I hope that love has been seeping slowly to him so that it doesn't hit him all at once like it did. I want him to grow up. With rap surrounded by. I want him to witness. I want to be an example. I want us an example for him and for Emerson. Me and you, Lily. It's been 6 months. Move in with love. Okay, that letter was powerful, and just remind that you don't need to have fame, money, or anything to show somebody that you love. Lily did a small thing for us. Well, I wouldn't call it small. If you read it ends with us. But the small thing she did in that letter by just taking care of when he needed to be taken care of, she gave him something that he never had in love. And everybody needs to be shown because love changes a lot. So let me know, think about in the comments. Let me know if something read. Did you pick up in the which is the first book? Because you have it ends with us. Read start. So remember, I'm always thinking of you, my love. Bye for now. Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be doing the book review for Colleen Hoover's book, Regretting You. I have read the Someday Maybe series by Colleen Hoover, and I have really been getting into her as an author. So Regretting You for me is currently right now the best Colleen Hoover book I have read so far. This book talks about grief, it talks about family drama, it talks about infidelity, it talks about tragedy. It hits all the emotional points that you want to feel when you're reading something. You want to feel sad, but you want to relate to the characters. You want to feel angry about some things, but you still relate to the character. You relate to the mother-daughter dynamic in the relationship of this book. This book is a duo point of view. What that means is you'll read a chapter that's in Morgan's voice, and then you'll read a chapter that's coming from the voice of Morgan's daughter, which her name is Clara. So the back of the book says, how do you pick up the pieces without the glue holding everything together? Morgan Grant and her 16-year-old daughter Clara would like nothing more than to be nothing alike. Morgan is determined to prevent her daughter from making the same mistake she did by getting pregnant and married way too young. Morgan put her dreams on hold. Clara doesn't want to follow in her mother's footsteps. Her predictable mother doesn't have a spontaneous bone in her body. With warring personalities and conflicting goals, Morgan and Clara find it increasingly difficult to coexist. The only person who can bring peace to the household is Chris, Morgan's husband, Clara's father, and the family anchor. But that peace is shattered when Chris is involved in a tragic and questionable accident. The heartbreaking and long-lasting consequences will reach far beyond just Morgan and Clara. While struggling to rebuild everything that crashed around them. Morgan finds comfort in the last person she expects to, and Clara turns to one boy she been forbidden to see. With each passing day, new secrets, resentment, misunderstanding makes a mother and daughter fall farther apart, so far it might be impossible for them to ever fall back together. Okay, so the book starts off with Morgan's point of view, and this is teenage, almost adult Morgan talking. So this is where we meet the foursome. The foursome involves Morgan, her younger sister Jenny, which they're only like a year apart, and Chris, which is Morgan's boyfriend at the time, and Jonah, which is Chris's best friend, but also Jenny's boyfriend at the time. We meet them in high school. It's Jonah's and Chris's graduation, and they go out to this party, and you learn about Morgan and her sister. They are best friends because their mother has not really been a mother. She's always lived her life, and Morgan's done her best to try to raise her little sister. But the interesting thing about this foursome is that the people that you see together don't seem that compatible, but they're together because they have love and care for each other. But personality-wise and the way they move, they don't seem compatible. But the thing that is a thing is that Morgan thinks or finds out that she's pregnant at the end of the chapter. Then chapter 2 begins, and we're 17 years in the future, and we're hearing her daughter Clara's point of view. 17 years later, Morgan and Chris are now married. They have a 17-year-old daughter named Clara. Jenny, the sister, has just had a baby with Chris's best friend named Jonah, who Jenny dated back in high school. So that's where we are by chapter 2. But the thing that surprises me about this book is that this book is centered around this tragedy, because it starts off with Morgan feeling an emptiness, and she can't explain where this emptiness comes from. She's been feeling like something's missing in her life, but she can't put her finger on it. And then even 17 years later in the future, she still feels this emptiness, but she's married to this man. She has a beautiful daughter, but now that her daughter is almost gone off to college, she feels as though she's put her life on hold to raise her daughter. Now she's thinking about going back to school, and you can kind of see that her husband, Chris, and her don't see eye to eye, but then tragedy strikes. And this is where you see Morgan and Clara to start unraveling, because tragedy has struck. They don't know what to do. Morgan finds out something that's devastating and something that's tragic at the same time. So the tragedy involves this accident. People die. I won't tell you who. And then on top of who died, they find out secret information about the people who died that make Morgan reevaluate her whole life with her husband. Like, is this a lie? This can't be happening. And then magically, your husband's best friend reappears, all because he had a baby by your sister, and now you have to walk through this tragedy and this unexpected, shocking news that you never thought you would get. But you can't ask people if this is true or not, because these people are no longer on earth to ask. But then you don't want your daughter to find out the truth, because you don't want to ruin the image or the pedestal that you have placed these people on for your daughter. So you decide to lie to her. But the lies are putting a strain on Morgan and Clara's relationship, because she sees her mother's actions is not reflecting the story that she told Clara, and that's put a rift. And grief will put a rift on anything, because grief is a complicated emotion. And there's a lot of different stages of grief, and not everybody grieves the same. So you have a 17-year-old that's still trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life, but she's also lost important people in her life. but she's not old enough. She's old enough to start navigating her life, but she still has time to make these decisions. And then you're looking at the mother that's not only trying to grieve the people she lost, but also walk her daughter through her own grief and trying to be a mother, but also a person that's grieving at the same time. It gets complicated, but the secret is what is making the grief complicated. I won't tell you what the secret is. You have to read that to know. I won't tell you what the secret is. But the secret is the nucleus, I shall say, of why people are so angry, why people question their life and was their reality a lie. And the people that you love the most are also sometimes the people that can hurt you the most. And who and what do you put your trust in? Because everything you knew once before, the marriage that you had, friendship that you had, the bonding with siblings, the relationship with the best friend have all been turned upside down based off of this one secret. And the only reason this secret has even come out is because something more tragic had to happen first. And when you already feel as though you settled in your life, this makes this secret harder for you to understand, because you're trying to figure out why are you stuck in your life. But then you realize along the way, you might have settled for someone that you weren't necessarily in love with. You pretty much married a person out of obligation, and the person might have married you out of obligation because you had a child young. And as for the daughter goes, you're only acting out because you're angry with your parents for forbidding you to be with somebody, and you feel like the parent you knew aren't the parents you know now based off of this secret. There's one passage in this book that stood out to me, and I think it explains a lot of why relationships are formed and why some relationships end. It can be found on page 323. It says, I sigh and look back up at the ceiling. I've had some time to mull over all of this, then you. So maybe I can share some that was born from all of this anger. Think of it like this. Attraction isn't something that only happens once with one person. It's part of what drives humans. Our attraction to each other, to art, to food, to entertainment. Attraction is fun. So when you decide to commit to someone, you aren't saying, I promise I'll never be attracted to anyone. You are saying, I promise to commit to you despite my potential future attraction to other people. I look at Clara. Relationships are hard for that very reason. Your body and your heart don't stop finding the beauty and the attraction in other people simply because you made a commitment to one person. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're drawn to someone else, it's up to you to remove yourself from the situation before it becomes too hard to fight. I find that to be one of the most powerful statements in the book, because Morgan is right. You can love someone and still be attracted to someone else, but only you can decide, are you going to honor your commitment of your marriage or your relationship, or are you going to act on your attraction and your temptation? So I hope you guys read this book for yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Is there a book that you would like me to read in the future? Let me know down in the comments. Remember, I'm always thinking of you. Sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be talking about The Selection. The Selection is a book that I'm reading by Kiera Cast. And y'all, I'll just have to say, I love me a good romance book. And this is a romance book. We are going to be talking about chapters 1 through 5. There are 25 total chapters in this book. This book is about 367 pages. And if you like this style of video, hit that like button. And if you are not a part of the family over here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you will get notified every time I upload a video. So, the back of the book of the selection says, 35 girls, the selection, the chance of a lifetime, the opportunity to be swept up in a world of glittering gowns and priceless jewels, to live in a palace and compete for the heart of the gorgeous Prince Maxim. But for America's singer, being selected is a nightmare. It means turning her back on her secret love with Aspen, who is a caste below her, and leaving her home to enter the fierce competition for a crown she doesn't want. Then America meets Prince Maxim. Gradually, she begins to realize that the life she always dreamed of may not compare to the future she never imagined. So to start off, we meet America Singer and her family. Now, I have to explain this caste system that they speak of in the back of the book. This caste system is like what we would call today our class in society, like upper middle class and poor, things like that. But their caste system is like from a 1 to an 8. And America Singer's family falls at a 5. A 5 is not the best caste, but it's also not the worst caste. It's actually like 3 away from the bottom. So we meet America Singer in the Singer household. America Singer is not the oldest child. She's more like the middle child. She has an older sister named Kenna. She's married to a man named James. James is a 4. Then she has her brother Coda, who's already out the house, but he's not married. Then we have America. Then her sister May, who is 3 years younger than America. And then the baby of the family is her younger brother Gerard. Now, her family dynamic is going to be important because the selection is a way for the prince to find a wife. But the weird thing about this whole selection is that America doesn't want to do it. Her family knows she wants not to do it, but they don't understand why, because America is in a secret relationship with this guy named Aspen. Aspen is a 6, which means he is a caste below her, and she's wanting to get married. Her and Aspen have dreamt up this life together. It's a lot, but America and Aspen are in love, but they're kind of like on different pages, because America doesn't care what caste Aspen is, but Aspen cares. So when the book starts off, this letter comes in the mail about the selection, and America's like, automatically, I'm not signing the paper. I'm not entering, I'm not doing that. Her mother's like, you should do it. Her dad's like not really trying to tell her what to do. But the selection, whoever is selected, since there's going to be 35 girls, which means only one girl from each province is going to make it into the selection. A province is like a city or a state. They live in the country of Ilya. And Ilya is looking for its next princess. So America lives in the province of Carolina. So her mother's like, entered the selection. Why is her mother so pressed about this selection? Is because if you are selected, they pay your family, or as they like to put it, compensate your family for the time you are away, because pretty much if everybody in the family works, unless you are underage, everybody in the family works or contributes to the household in some way, shape, or form. Now America's job, since she's the oldest in the house, is that she cooks and cleans. She also attends school. Everybody that's a cast of a 5, they are homeschooled. Only 6s and 7s go to public school. And America's family is artists and musicians. Her younger sister and her father are artists. And her mother in America are singers, and her mother plays the piano. Now America plays a wide range of instruments, and she also speaks 3 languages. So the letter comes, America's not signing it, but she sneaks out to meet Aspen, which is a problem, because sneaking out to meet Aspen will get you in major trouble. Everybody in Ilya has a curfew. If you break curfew, then you broke a law, and breaking a law will get you sent away to jail. So she sneaks out to meet Aspen. She doesn't finish her dinner. She saves her leftovers for Aspen, and then she sneaks off. She tells Aspen that the letter comes in the mail for the selection, and he was like, yeah, we got one too. Now Aspen is a 6. He's the oldest of 7 siblings. His dad passed away, so now Aspen is like the man of his household. He has twin sisters, Cecilia and Camber. They are also eligible for the selection. To be eligible for the selection, you have to be between the ages of 16 to 20. So his sisters, Aspen's twin sisters, are now eligible for the selection because they are 16. They are going to enter the selection. Aspen tells America to enter the selection. Why? Because he wants a better life for her. But Aspen is so, he loves America that he knows he can't provide for her, but he's like, I love you, just enter the selection and we'll go from there. If you don't make it, then I'll marry you. But I don't want to be holding you back from something that could be great and change your life. So he tells her to enter. She fights him on it. Then she's like, okay, I'll enter. But then her parents come in like the next day after she told them at the dinner table, I don't want to enter the selection. They give her an ultimatum. The ultimatum is, you enter the selection, you are now old enough to take jobs on your own, and all the money that you make on the jobs that you do by yourself, you get to keep half the money and you give the other half to the family because they still need her financial help. And that's her mother's main reason for wanting America to enter the selection. Like I said, a 5 is not the best cast, but it's also not the worst. But it's bad enough that they're only 3 away from the bottom. So America's parents still don't know that she snuck out to meet Aspen and that she already agreed to enter the selection because of Aspen. Okay, so she fills out the paper. They ask about her hair color, eye color, how many languages she speaks, her education, all of that. They go to drop the paper off at like their postal service. Thousands of girls in her Providence is there. They're dressed up, all of that. And America looks plain because she didn't know that they were going to take a picture. And then she runs into Aspen's twin sister and Aspen's mother. Aspen's mother talks about she's noticed that her son is happier now. She believes that her son has a girlfriend that he is planning on marrying, and America thinks that Aspen's mother is talking about her. So Aspen's all excited, but now she really doesn't want to enter the selection because she thinks, okay, I just heard Aspen's mother talking about this woman. I think she's talking about me, and she's hoping and praying that she doesn't get selected for the selection. But he only recently started smiling and talking and acting different, which is a little alarming to America because her and Aspen have been going out for 2 years. And why is his mother just recently noticing that he's happier and working harder, saving his money, and all of those things? But Aspen stops thinking about that. She's just like, okay, I'm the girl he's talking about. I'm the girl he's going to marry. She doesn't say any of this out loud. She's thinking this in her head. So the reason why they want to get married so young is because physical relationships are forbidden in their country before marriage. You will actually get in trouble with the law if you do anything physical before you are married. That's why most people in Ilia get married so young. And usually the women will date down because men will come and ask for their hand in marriage. So for example, if America marries Aspen, she will be changing her caste. So she will be technically worse off as a 6 than a 5. Like her sister Kenna married up because she married a 4. But if America and Aspen get together, she will be marrying down, but she doesn't care about that. She goes so far to even ask her dad, would you care, without telling her dad that she's dating this guy that is a 6, would he care if she dated below her caste? Can she date anybody? Can she marry anybody? And her dad's like, I just want you to be happy. That's all he wants. But her mother is like, I want better for you. Do better. Be better than me, sort of thing. But America also feels like her mother guilts her into doing things that she doesn't want to do. Like the weight of her family is on America's shoulders, because doing this selection will bring in money because they pay you for being in the selection. If you are selected, your family gets a pay. Even if you aren't the one selected, you will no longer be be a 5 anymore, because when you enter the selection, if you don't make it, they boost you up. So if America doesn't make it in the selection, like if she meets Prince Maxim and he sends her home, she will automatically be a 3. So either way, the selection is good for her because she will be gaining, how should I say this, more economic status is the best way to put it. It is really the best way to put it. And that's what her mother is looking for. Now her mother, on the other hand, when the king had his selection time, America's mother was only 14. So at the time when the king was looking for a wife, America's mother could not enter the selection. And I think that kind of bothers America's mother, because she knows, it sounds like she settled for America's dad. She just doesn't try to say it. And America's wondering, are you pushing this selection on me because you aren't happy with your life? And America even starts questioning, after listening to how hard her mother is pushing this selection, she's starting to wonder, does her mother really love her dad? Like, did you settle for my father? Do you really love him? Or is it just that you are all about the money? I don't know if America's mother is all about the money, but I feel like she was saddened by not being able to enter the selection because she missed the cutoff by 2 years when she was younger. But America's dad does warn her that financial strain, no matter who you marry, will change the dynamics of your marriage, and he doesn't want that for America. But he's not going to tell her like out loud that I want better for you, but he always tells her, I don't care who you marry, I just want you to be happy. So it sounds like there's kind of a rift between America's father and America's mother, because they have two different ideas on what happiness leads to. Happiness should be for money. Why wouldn't you want a better life? That's how American mothers feel. And even though America's father knows how much finances put a strain on the marriage side of things, he wants his daughter to be happy. But the funny thing is, his oldest daughter did marry a 4, which I told you his name is James, and he doesn't even address James by his name. He just calls him a 4. So maybe there is a slight jealousy that his daughter is a little better off than her family, because her parents are still 5s and she married a 4. So money is a big issue. So America and Aspen get into a fight, because now that America's working, she has a little bit more money. And Aspen is like, your parents really bribed you to enter the selection? Yeah. She was like, yeah, now I can save money so we can get married. So on their date night, America makes extra food because she has the money to make extra food now. Usually there is no seconds at America's dinner table. She saves some of her food for Aspen because 6s don't really eat that much, and since he's the oldest, he usually gives his portion to his younger siblings. So they get into this big fight. They meet in a treehouse at like midnight. This is how they meet up and nobody knows. So she makes a whole meal for Aspen. Her and Aspen are eating, and Aspen's like, what is this? Why is there so much food? And she was like, I made it for you. And he was like, well, why would you do that? Sort of thing. She was like, because I wanted to show you that this is what I did with my extra money. And he was like, no. Now Aspen's angry because he's used to America giving him food that he feels as though she doesn't want. But the fact that she went out her way to make a whole extra meal for him, it's like you're taking food out of your own family's mouth, knowing that they're struggling because they don't have seconds in America's house. So America never finishes her meal so she can give some to Aspen. So he was like, why would you do that? I'm supposed to be the provider. This is Aspen's issue. He's a man, and he feels as though as the man, he is supposed to be the provider. And he doesn't like that America is providing for him. He doesn't want to do that because sixes are servants and they were raised to serve other people. And as a man, he feels as though he's the provider. And I could see why he feels that way, but in my opinion, if you're in a relationship, your relationship is a partnership. But Aspen feels as though he should be the provider. So they're arguing, and she was like, I just want to be with you. I just want to be happy. How many times do I have to tell you? We will work together. I just want to be with you. I love you. And whenever you're ready, whenever you're ready to marry me, I am ready to be with you. And Aspen is like, no, I can't do this anymore. And he breaks up with America. And this is before that she finds out if she made it into the selection or not. So Aspen breaks up with America because he feels as though he should be the provider. He can't provide for America. He doesn't want her to suffer. And he really loves America enough to know that he can't provide for her and he wants America to have a better life. I don't think that's the only reason he broke up with America. I haven't gotten that far in the book to find out, but I don't think that's the only reason he broke up with America. So he breaks up with America. Then the Capitol Report comes on TV, which lets you know about the country's news. And America's name is announced for the selection. Is announced. So America is now officially representing the Providence of Carolina in the selection. And Aspen broke up with her. So thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. I will be posting questions for our next discussion on my community tab in the next upcoming days. So check back on my community tab to give your thoughts on the questions that I asked. Remember, I'm always thinking of you. Sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the selection, and welcome to book chat number 2 of the selection. If you like my content here, yes, because there is a variety, please hit that subscribe button, make the red button turn gray, turn on the notification bell so you will know each and every time I upload or go live. And always check back on my community tab because I'm always asking you questions so you can participate in the conversations and the content. So guys, the selection has me emotional, but before I tell you why, I'll just read you the back of the book again. But if you haven't checked out our first book chat about the selection, I suggest you do that before you watch this video. I will either have it linked up in the cards or down below in the subscription box. And if you have any book recommendations, you can leave them in the comment section as well. So the back of the book says, for 35 girls, the selection is a chance of a lifetime. The opportunity to be swept up in a world of glittering gowns and priceless jewels. To live in a palace and compete for the heart of the gorgeous Prince Maxim. But for America's singer, being selected is a nightmare. It means turning her back on her secret love with Aspen, who is a caste below her, and leaving her home to enter a fierce competition for a crown she doesn't want. But then America meets Prince Maxim and gradually begins to realize that the life she always dreamt of may not compare to the future she never imagined. Okay, so in this video we're going to be discussing chapters 6 through 10, and y'all, like I said, this has made me feel all types of ways. I even cried reading this next part. But we're gonna get into my poll questions. That's why I said always check on my community tab, because I want y'all to be involved in these discussions, and I'm so thankful that you guys were involved in this discussion. So the first poll question I asked on my community tab was, would you marry for love or money? So 63% of you said love, 13% of you said money, and 25% of you said both. So I was shocked by the poll, because I honestly thought in my heart of hearts that more of you would have said both, but majority of you said love, which honestly, if I'm thinking about it, if I had to answer this, I would say love too. And the reason why I would say that is because I feel like when you love somebody, you'll work hard to get where you guys both want to be if you both are on the same page and if you communicate well. So I agree with the poll. The second question I asked on my community tab was, would you want to be royalty? And the comment that was left was, I think it would be cool to be royalty, but at the same time it would be too much to put up with when you consider all the rules that you have to follow. And I would have to agree with that. Yes, as we can see. So thinking about, but then I'm also thinking about, what could I do with my royalty platform if I was royalty? Like, being royalty, you have the biggest platform in the world, and I feel like you can create a lot of change. But just if you're not royalty, you can create change too. So I feel like for me to be royalty, there would have to be a happy balance of the rules I have to follow, and also the changes I would want to see in the world if I was going to be royalty. There would have to be a healthy balance of both for me to be royalty when I think about it. But like I said, I thank you all for participating in the questions and the polls. It makes these discussions a lot of fun. There was also another comment that I wanted to read that was left in the comment section of the book chat video. This comment says, the selection reminds me of Princess Diaries and What a Girl Wants with Amanda Bynes, because the average girls are suddenly upgraded to a higher social class and are expected to a certain type of guy, which I would have to agree with this as well. This does kind of remind me of What a Girl Wants and Princess Diaries, but the only thing about Princess Diaries, she was already born into royalty. She just didn't know it. They told her later in life. America, in this situation, She was not born into royalty. She's a cast of a 5, which is not the best cast, but it's also not the worst cast. She's 3 away from the bottom. But being a part of the selection will give her an upgrade. Yes, that is true, because even if she doesn't become the one that wins Princess, even if she doesn't become the one that wins Prince Maxim's heart, her social class will change. It won't change her family's social class because they will still remain a 5. But it will change America's social class specifically because she will be bumped up from a 5 to a 3. But if she wins the selection and becomes the one that Prince Maxim chooses, she and her family will automatically become 1. The only way her family is benefiting right now that she's in the selection process, the longer she stays, they get a check every week. But if she leaves and does not win America's family status, they will still be a 5, but America will be upgraded to a 3. So for her family to reap all the benefits of the selection, she has to win. She has to win so they all can be upgraded to a 1. But if she doesn't win, they will get a check as long as she's there once a week. But she will become a 3 and they will remain 5s. But the reason why the selection has me emotional is because America doesn't want to be there. And I feel like her family pressured her into entering the selection, which they did. They actually bribed her. But I get it's going to benefit her family because they need the money, so I understand that. But I don't believe in you should be doing something that makes you unhappy. And the fact that Aspen, her secret love, dumped her and encouraged her to be in the selection, but he was caught hugging another girl as she was leaving the state to go to the selection, I just feel heartbroken for her. So now America's gone. She doesn't know what's going on between Aspen and Brienne. Brienne is the same cast as Aspen, so they're both 6s, which is below a 5. But I still wonder why Aspen told America to go. If he really wanted to be with her and really wanted to marry her, why would he tell her to go? I understand that he would want a better life for her, but does he really love her? Now that he's hugging up with some other girl is my biggest question. Now, America and the girls are the other 34 ladies are going off to meet Prince Maxim. And there are a bunch of women from all castes. But in the selection process, there are only 3 5s. So it's America and 2 other girls. Now, these girls have been described as blonde, brown-headed girls. So there's a mix of hair colors, eye colors, and skin tone. So he has a wide variety of girls to choose from. In particular, America has met a girl that she's bonded with. Her name is Maggie. No. The girl that America has bonded with, her name is Marley, and she's described as a blonde with brown eyes, and she's a 4, so she's 1 caste above America, and she's from Kent. So her name is Marley. And then she's also met Ashley. Ashley is another blonde, but she has blue eyes and she's a 3. Now there is one person that America does not like. Her name is Chesley Newsom. She's from Claremont and she's a 2. She's mean. She talks back to people and she feels entitled, but she's a 2. But the thing that gets me about this selection process, which it reminds me of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and if you're into that show, The Bachelorette actually starts soon. But the thing that gets me is that America's looking at all these people thinking that these people are better than her. But I feel like America shouldn't have entered the selection. Not only because she didn't want to and she felt as though she was forced into it. I feel like if you're going to go through a process like this, you need to have confidence. Like, confidence is going to be your key to success throughout this whole process. And I feel like America lacks the confidence for this. Putting aside that she didn't want to and she's only doing this for the betterment of her family, if I take all of that out of the situation, I just feel like America's not confident enough to do this. And America Mother bothers me so much. Like, she bothers me because it's like, she's your daughter and I know you want what's best for your daughter, but at America's send-off, her mother was like, do what they tell you, mind your manners, and stay as long as you possibly can. What happened to the I love you and I'm so proud of you? Like, what happened to those things? Her mother didn't say any of that. Her father, on the other hand, I like him because he said at America's send-off, no matter what the outcome is, you will always be a princess to me and I love you. Now that's what your child wants to hear. They don't want to hear what the mother said, because what happened to the mother saying I love you and thank you for doing this and I'm proud of you? She told the girl, I just knew you were special. Like, did you not think America was special before she was selected for the selection? Like, come on. Like, really, that part broke my heart. Like, it really just broke my heart that America's mother is only seeing the benefit of the selection for the family, but she's not looking at how this selection process has affected America. Granted, nobody in the family knows that America had this 2-year secret relationship with Aspen. I understand that because it is against the rules or laws of the country, but I understand they don't know. But still, have some compassion for your child. Make her feel loved. Make her feel like no matter what she does, you're going to love her unconditionally. And that's what I feel America Mother lacks. So they get on the planes to go to the palace. And when they get to the palace, all the girls get makeovers. Some of them get their hair dyed. Some of them get their hair trimmed. They get their nails done. They get a whole new wardrobe, the whole thing. America's like, you're not touching my hair. You're not dyeing my hair. You're not putting any paint on my nails or anything like that. She's not even down for the makeover. Which I feel as though if America's going to be a part of the process, I understand she doesn't want to be, and I understand how she feels that you shouldn't have to change yourself. People should like you just the way you are. But going into it, you have to be flexible to the things that are going to go on in this process. And I don't see, as of right now that I'm on chapter 10, I don't see America being flexible to the process. Everything about this process is a fight for America because she doesn't want to be a part of. And I feel bad for her that she is a part of something that she doesn't want to be a part of. Like, I feel bad for that. I really do. But now that she's there, I feel as though America should be putting her best foot forward, if I'm being 100% honest. So she did let them add layers to her hair. I'm glad they didn't dye her hair or she didn't allow them to dye her hair, because America is a redhead. And redheads are hard to come by. There's not a lot of people in the selection or just in the world in general with red hair. And I feel like that is America's distinction from the rest of the girls, because most of them are blondes and browns and brunettes and all the shades in between. And America stands out because she's a redhead. So I'm glad she stood her ground for them not to dye her hair. But she did allow them to trim it and give her some highlights and some layers in her hair. So that is good. And she allowed them to paint her toes, but she didn't get her nails painted. That's a whole thing I don't understand. But fast forwarding, America's now in this big room in the palace. She has 3 maids and all of that. She's had a good dinner, which involved steak. But as she's going to sleep at night, this is where I start to feel bad and get emotional. America has a panic attack, thinking about all the things she left behind, thinking about Aspen, thinking about how they left things, because they really didn't have a good conversation about why he did what he did. He sort of kind of said that the military draft was coming up and he didn't want to marry her, knowing that entering the military takes you away from your family and for 4 years. But then at her send-off, he's hugged up with another girl that he never even got a chance to explain what the other girl was about. So they kind of left things with a lot of things unsaid. So I feel bad about that. And then she's leaving her family for the first time. That's scary in itself. And America doesn't have friends because she was homeschooled and she worked with her family as a musician and a singer, but she doesn't really have friends, so she's never been around a whole bunch of girls, so this is all new to her, and it freaked her out and she had a panic attack. And she tries to leave the palace just to get some fresh air, but the guards stop her because they're not allowed to leave the palace or go outside without permission. And then she hears this voice. It's the voice of Prince Maxim, and he's like, let her out, let her go. And the guards let her out into the garden of the palace, and he sees America crying, and he sits down to talk to her and try to comfort her. But America's mean. She's like, no, I don't need you to have them let me out every day. He offered to tell the guards, like, at least let her out once a day, or anytime she wants to go outside, let her. And she's like, no. She thinks he's stuck up. She thinks he's unattractive, which I don't know how she would know that. It's like nighttime, it's dark. How can you see what he looks like? You didn't even get a chance to get to know him. None of the girls have met him yet because they just got there and they were going to meet him the next day. They gave them the day to settle in before they meet him. So technically, this portion, she wasn't even supposed to meet him alone yet, but he heard her crying and saw her trying to get out, so he's trying to be comforting. But this is the part that struck me the most. Prince Maxim says, my parents were married in this way, meaning they were both married through this selection process, because Prince Maxim's mother was a 4 when she met Prince Maxim's father. But I found this to be beautiful. He says, my mother and father were married this way and are quite happy. I hope to find happiness too, to find a woman that all of Ilya can love, someone to be my companion and to help me entertain the leaders of other nations, someone who will befriend my friends and be my confidant. I'm ready to find a wife. Now I find that to be beautiful, that he's not just doing this because it's his responsibility to the nation to find a wife in this way. He really wants a wife to be his friend, his confidant. I think anybody would want that, to be honest. That is something I look for. I want the person that I marry someday in the future to be not only my friend, but my partner. So I understand Prince Maxim's heart in this, and I wish America would see his heart. Maybe this isn't the most conventional way to find a wife, or if this was a princess, the most conventional way to find a husband. But it's something, and everybody has their ways of doing things. I don't think we should shoot them down, but at least try to understand where they're coming from. I think America needs to open her mind a little bit. I understand that she's been working and she's been sheltered and she feels like this whole process is unfair, but she needs to have an open mind. America says, something in his voice struck me. There wasn't a trace of sarcasm. This thing that seemed like a little more than a game showed to me was his only chance of happiness. He couldn't try for a second run of girls, and well, maybe he could, but how embarrassing. He was so desperate, so hopeful. I felt my distaste for him lessen marginally. So after having this private conversation and Prince Maxim is sharing his heart and his thoughts about the selection, she maybe is going to start warming up to him. We'll have to see how that goes. But I don't know. America, she needs to be softened a little bit. And maybe that will come from Prince Maxim, or maybe somehow Aspen will come back. I'm not necessarily sure. But if I had to say right now, based on what I've read so far, I was rooting for Aspen when I started reading, but now I'm rooting for Prince Maxim, to be honest, because he seems so genuine. I don't think he really cares that he's a prince. I really think he's just looking for that companion and that friendship and someone to be beside him, and I think that's what anybody's looking for, whether they're a prince or not. So I hope America tries to get the most out of this experience, whether she wins or not. Okay, so the question for this video will be, would you be open to falling in love with somebody? Would you be open to falling in love if the circumstances were different? And that's the question for this video. I will have more questions and polls up on my community tab after this video comes out. So check back to join in the discussion on the community tab or in the comment section of this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be doing book chat number 3 for the selection. This will be the last book chat for this book, and we're going to be going through chapters 11 to 25, and that will complete this. So there's going to be a bunch of clips put into one video, so if I look different in every clip, I'm filming all in one video because my plan is to finish this book within the next 2 to 3 days. That's my plan as I'm filming this now. So if you haven't seen the last 2 book chat, just check either my selection series playlist or check the book chat playlist. So where we are now, we're on chapter 11, and the girls have met Prince Maxim. I told you in book chat 2, America had a panic attack where she first met Prince Maxim, and he asked her not to tell the other girls that they had already met because he let her out because she was having a panic attack her first night that she was there at the selection, and he let her out. They had a conversation. He told her that he wants somebody to be his confidant, his friend, and somebody that will help him run the country. So that's what America learned about Prince Max. Now fast forward to the next morning. He meets all the girls. He gets rid of 8 of them. So now there's 27. And then at the breakfast table, America tries strawberry tart pastry, and she says that her sister would love them and these would make her cry. So Prince Maxim was like, I'll send these to your family, and if it doesn't make your sister cry, then you have to take a stroll with me in the garden. And he had all the girls write letters to their family letting them know that they were safe. America's sister, May, which is her younger sister, did not cry when she ate the pastry. So now America has to go on this nightly stroll in the garden with Prince Maxim. And she really feels like May let her down because May loves sweets, but she's okay. But this is the thing that gets me about America. She tells Prince Maxim that she wants nothing to do with him, but she will be his confidant in getting to know the girls and help him pick out the best girl for him. He agrees to this. Now they're in the stroll garden, and Prince Maxim is just trying to get to know America a little bit, but she assumes that he's gonna want more from her than she's willing to give based off of what the people that came to her house to prepare her for the selection, they tell her to give Prince Maxim anything he wants. And she thinks just because Prince Maxim is trying to hold her hand, he's gonna do more. So she needs him, so he falls to the ground. And he was like, what are you doing? Why would you think I would do something like that? I'm a gentleman. She's humiliated. He tells her that you're going to be eating dinner in your room tonight. So that's where we are. Okay, guys. I really feel like I keep going back and forth on how I feel about the book. Right now, I am totally Team Max. We haven't seen Aspen in a while, so we don't know how he's doing other than the father wrote America a letter saying that Aspen came over to help them out with some work. And he gave him a box of pastry because the prince sent 3 boxes to America's house, and he gave Aspen a box to share with his family. So we don't really know what's going on with Aspen. Remember the last time we saw Aspen, he was hugged up with a girl that was also a 6 like Aspen named Brienne. So we haven't seen him at all or heard from him, but he seems to be doing okay. But right now, I am definitely Team Maxim, just for the simple fact of I believe he cares about all the girls, but I think he has this thing for Aspen. And the reason is because they don't really tell you what his conversations are like with the other girls. But the way they explain the other girls, they're doing whatever they're told to do and changing themselves and all of those things because that's what the people are telling them to do. But I believe Prince Max likes America and is starting to develop this friendship and feelings for her because she's doing what they tell her, trying not to make too much of a scene, but she's holding firm into how much she's willing to change. But it also could cost her, so I'm kind of conflicted. I want America to be open to the process, but I don't want America to change the essence of who she is, because that's what I feel as though Prince Maxim likes about America the most, is that she's not trying to change herself too much to lose who she is, and she's honestly not trying to impress him so much. So I believe that's why taking such a liking to her, because like he said, he's looking for a confidant, he's looking for a friend, and someone that can entertain leaders with him, like be his rock. And I think that's what anybody's looking for in a relationship. But it's also hard to accept that America has all preconceived notions about Prince Maxim based off of what she thinks of him and what she's told to do prior to meeting. Now, I told you that they had a thing where Prince Maxim sent pastries to America's family to see if her sister would cry because she told him that her sister loves sweets. And they made a bet. If May did not cry, America had to go through the garden with Prince Maxim. That's where he got kneed. But America wanted, if she won this bet, she wanted to be able to wear. And this is why I say Prince Maxim is the sweetest guy, because after she got back upstairs, even though he made her in her room for the night because she needed him like hard to where he fell to the ground, he sent her a box pants. Like, he's really listening to what she wants and listening to her needs. And so when she opens the box, she sees when she opens the box, she sees 3 pairs of linen pants. And he writes, "You asked for such simple things. I can't deny, but for my sake only on Saturday. Thank you for your company. Your friend Mac." Now that is so sweet. Even though she lost the bet, he still gave her the pants that she wanted. And his only request is that she only wears them on Saturday, which I feel like that's simple and easy to follow. But I really want America to apologize to Prince Maxim for needing him. Like, she need him hard in the legs where he fell to the ground. All because she thought he was going to do something that she wasn't ready for or prepared for, which he wasn't. But America needs to learn. You can't... This is going to sound corny and cheesy as I say it because we're talking about a book, but you can't judge a book by its cover. Okay, so we're on chapter 13 now, and there has been an attack on the palace, and the girls are down. Prince Maxim in his home. America has tried to help with the attack, but most of the girls are frightened. I think we're going to come up on an elimination soon, because now that there's been an attack, Prince Maxim see how the girls react to a real life. So America doesn't realize that she has everything it takes, because you know you're being attacked, and the first thing you think about, you don't freeze, you don't clam up. First thing you think about is, what do I need to do to make sure everybody's safe? So she runs to pull down the blind palace because Prince Maxim and his family doing it in the guard. So she jumps into action, but the rest of the girls are scared. They're in a corner somewhere, and one of the girls named Tiny fainted. So America does have what it takes to be a friend, but she doesn't see it. She dealt herself way. How many times survived an attack now? Got reports that these happened several times that had to be unnerving. And the odds were getting glim for her and her husband and her only child. Surely, eventually, the rebels would figure out the right alignment of circumstances to get what they wanted. Yet she stood there, her chin set, her still face, wearing a quiet calm. I surveyed the girl. Did any of them have the strength it would take to point? Tiny was still unconscious in someone's arm. Cecily and Bear were making conversation. Cecily looked like at ease. This was it. Still, compared to others, she hid her emotions well. So, America's not even thinking about that she's a good person or a queen. She's holding up her end of the bargain to look at all the girls, to see how they react to attacks, so she can tell Prince Max. If it's up to me, Tiny's definitely out the running. I understand her being and passing out if these attacks happen when she's queen or princess would not. Cecily, she could be a good match, but Cecily is not my favorite person because she feels entitled. So she's definitely not my favorite choice. In Beryl, I'm not showing her either. My number one choice is still America as princess and future queen. But like I said, America doesn't want that. And she's been giving Prince Maxim a hard time about the selection. Like, she has all these notions, but her jumping action, showing that she's going to fight for her safety and everybody else's safety, makes her the perfect choice for queen. Now, mind you, she does need to work on her etiquette, but when it comes to tough situations, she's the right choice. Okay, so America has now told Marley is a Ford. They have built a relationship that's kind of like her friend in the house. Ashley, which was her other friend in the house, is gone. There's only 27 girls left, and she sees Marley crying, like not hysterically crying during the attack, but crying. And she walks over to Marley, telling Marley to to act, stop crying, get it together, act like a queen. Because she's sure that Prince Max is paying attention. Now, I still don't understand why America doesn't think that she could be queen. Because if you can sit there and tell somebody else how to act and what this man is looking for, you can do that, and she's already doing. So for me, it's going to be between America, Marley, if she can keep her emotions in check, or Cecily to be queen, or princess. But America needs to realize she's good enough to do the job. I'm hoping throughout the series that she will realize, I can do this is the life I want. Or will she go back to Aspen? I'm not sure. But will Maxim let America go now that he knows and what he feels about what happened last night? Just that he was going to do things that she didn't want him to do. About last night, let me explain. When they came in... Yes! About last night, let me explain. When they came in, prep us to get us ready to come, there was a man who told me that I was never to turn you down no matter what you asked for. Not ever. He was dumbfounded. What? He made you sound like you might ask for certain things, and you said yourself you hadn't been around many women after 18 years, and then you sent cameras away. I got scared when you got close to me. Maxim shook his head, trying to process all of this. Humiliation, rage, disbelief, all playing across his typical, even-tempered face. I would have a temper too. Why are all these people going around telling other people what I'm going to do? And how did that even come off as an impression for the staff to even tell the potential future princesses / queen? That's not cool. You made him look like a bad guy when Prince Maxim is not even a bad guy. You made him look that way. Just because he's a prince doesn't mean he gets to do whatever he wants. He has rules to follow too, and as we know, Ilya has strict rules for the people that live in the country. So I don't think Prince Maxim, even if he thought about obeying them, I think he will be scared to do something like. So his staff needs to do better than just saying, oh, if he asks, just say yes. You can never tell him no. That is not okay. So guys, I am back to finish off this book chat. So to finish this book chat off, America is still having doubts about Prince Maxim, and I can understand why, because her preconceived notions was created by the team that was sent to her house. But there was a second attack in the palace, and this one was worse than the first attack. This one, they were literally hiding out in the basement, and America took her maids with her even though she wasn't supposed to. And now Prince Maxim has decided to get rid of a lot of the girls, because he feels as though a lot of the girls can't handle the attack, and he's not going to keep them there if they really don't want to be there, because he's honestly looking for true love. So he's decided that he's going to narrow down the 27 girls that are left automatically down to 6, and that's going to make them the elite. America is one of the 6, and so is her friend Marley that she's become close. But Prince Maxim asked America, do you really think that you could love me? Because I don't know how much longer I can keep you here, even though I promised to keep you to the very last second. And he said, if I could right now know that you could love me back and you really could see a future, the whole selection process would be over. But there's one problem. If you guys have been looking at my community tab, the last question that I asked you on my community tab was, have you ever been a part of a love triangle? And there was a reason why I asked that question, because Aspen is back. You know, Aspen is the guy that America was sneaking out to be with before she entered the selection. He was the one to convince her to even sign up for the selection. And now he's in the palace, guys, because he got drafted into the military. So now he's a palace guard. And he finally confessed that was really the main reason why he broke up with America, because that he could be drafted into the military and it could take him away for 4 years, and there was a good chance that he might not make it out of the military, so he didn't want to put her through that. But now that Aspen sees that Prince Maxim is really taking a liking to America, he wants America back. So that's where the love triangle comes in. And so the last thing we're going to do in this book chat, because that's how the book ends, with Aspen coming back, trying to get America back, and America becoming an elite, one of the 6 girls that is left. So on my community tab, when I asked you, have you ever been a part of a love triangle? 36% of you said yes. No, 36% of you said yes. 64% of you said no. So we don't have any love triangles in not very many love triangles in the community. Interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love. We are moving on to the Elite, which is the second book in the selection series, and there is one book that I am also going to talk to you about in my next video that is not the Elite. It is actually called The Bodyguard. I'll tell you more about that in my next video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we will be doing The Elite by Kiera Cass book review. Now this is the second book in the selection series. For the selection, I did a whole book chat that was in 3 parts where we broke down the book and had like a good book club chat about the selection. If you have not seen those videos, I have put all 3 parts to that book chat in one video, and that video is out now. So if you have not seen any of those book chats, I suggest you go watch that video first and then come back to this video, because this video is book 2. The selection series is a 6-book series. So the back of the Elite says, the selection began with 35 girls, and now the group is narrowed down to 6. The Elite competition to win Prince Maxim's heart is fiercer than ever. America struggles to decide where her heart truly lies. Is it with Maxim, who could make her life a fairy tale, or with her first love, Aspen? America is desperate for more time, but the rest of the Elite knows exactly what they want, and America's chance to choose is about to slip away. I will tell you that this book was more action-packed than the selection, and the love triangle in this book is in full force. Now, at the end of the selection, you know that Aspen, which is America's first love, came back close to the end of the book to work in the palace as a guard. So now he's in the palace full-time working as a guard. His cast number has changed. Before, he was a 6, but now that he's a guard, he's a 2, so he's in a better economic state than he was when him and America was secretly dating. And he still feels like America is only doing the selection because, 1, he told her to, and 2, to get her family the money that they get for each girl that is in the selection. But that's not necessarily true anymore. When America started, she only was being a part of the selection because her family needed the money and Aspen had broke up with her. But over time, her and Prince Maxim has built this friendship and romantic relationship, and Aspen still believes Prince Maxim is just for himself. He's a prince and he can do whatever he wants. But that's not true. Prince Maxim wants somebody that he can confide in, somebody that will love him and will help him run the country. But he really wants someone to truly love him. He just don't want to pick somebody just for the sake of picking somebody. And America is Prince Maxim's number one choice, to the point to where he has done all these things to make America feel wanted, loved, secure, and all of that, giving her all the reassurance that he knew. Now, where their relationship starts going downhill is when America learns why Halloween has been taken away in their country. They don't celebrate it. I won't get into those details. You'll read that for yourself. But Halloween has been taken away, and Maxim is like, you want to have a Halloween party? Because they're learning about why Halloween was taken away together. Is like on their little date, they're reading books and stuff. Maxim's like, well, why don't we just have a Halloween party in the palace? You do know I have to meet all the families of the girls that are a part of the selection. So we're gonna have a Halloween party. I'm gonna invite all the girls' families so I get a chance to talk to them, and then you know I have to do an elimination. Send one of the girls home. So the Halloween party happens. America's family comes into town. Her mother, her father, and her sister. Her little brother was too young, so he was not allowed to come. Her older brother wasn't invited because America feels as though he left her family high and dry for a better opportunity to be in a higher caste. You know that America originally started out as a 5, but if she doesn't make it to be the one that is chosen, her caste number will change and she will officially become a 3. If you want to know more details about the caste system, check out the selection book chat. I explain that in more detail in that video. So they come, and Maxim has this talk with her father about, I really love your daughter, I want what's best for her, and I will do everything in my power to make her happy, but if she doesn't want to be here, I will not keep her here. He doesn't want any girl to stay in the competition if they truly don't want to be with him and love him. Simple. So Halloween happens. America's jealousy is showing because Maxim is giving all the other girls attention and not her. And she explains that to Aspen and her father. I don't think he likes me anymore because we haven't been spending that much time together. The things that girls do when they feel insecure, unloved, and all unwanted. So at the end of the Halloween party, Prince Maxim tells her that I was saving you for the end because I wanted to get all of my obligations to the other girls and the time that I was supposed to spend with them meeting their families out of the way so I can have the whole rest of the night to spend with you. You're the one I really want to be with or whatever. But then something huge happens. One of the girls get caught cheating on Prince Maxim. Marley in particular. Marley has been like America's best friend, her confidant, since the selection started. Marley is a 4. She has fell in love with a guard in the palace named Carter, and they have gotten caught in the act by the cameras of them kissing and doing other things that they should not be doing because she is supposed to be competing for Prince Maxim. So they have gotten caught, and this turns badly because Marley and Carter were embarrassed in front of the whole selection because they were beaten for not following the rules and being disobedient in the selection and breaking the law. Because in Iliad, if you watch the first selection chat, you are not supposed to be intimate with anyone without being married to them, if you understand what I'm saying. And it doesn't help that you're part of the selection and you're supposed to be competing for the prince. So your focus should be on the prince. Now, if Marley would have told the prince, I don't like you and I have feelings for someone else, he would have gladly let her go. Let's be honest. Like I said, he doesn't want to be with anybody that doesn't want to be with him. He has said that multiple times. But he did have to follow through with this whole caning situation because his father is still king and this is part of the rules. So Marley and Carter were caned and that ended badly because America was like, no, this isn't right. Maxim, please make it stop. And they were physically not okay. And Maxim didn't do anything about it because he couldn't. All he could do was sit there and do what his father says because his father is king. So that makes America mad. She stopped speaking to Prince Maxim, and that makes him upset because he really needed to talk to America and explain a few things, but America wouldn't let him. So that's how he gets involved with Chris. Chris reached out to him because she knows how sad he was about it because he didn't agree with the caning, but it happened, and Marley was demoted from a 4 to an 8 and got put out the palace and all of that. So that developed his relationship with Chris. And he also know if America decided that she didn't want to be the princess, because she literally said after this whole thing happened, I don't want to be a princess, blah, 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 that he had to choose somebody else. Finally, America and Prince Maxim talked. He was like, I got a surprise for you. Hold on, you can't say anything. He shows her that Marley is back. Marley now works in the kitchen against the king's orders, but Maxim felt bad for about what happened to her, and he got her and Carter the medical attention they need and allowed them to get married. And now they work in the kitchen without anybody in the palace knowing. They had to change their names. Marley can't see her family, but at least she's safe. And he was like, America, I never wanted anything to happen to her, but those are the rules. She did break them. She broke the law, and this is what happens. And my father still enforces the law. So there wasn't really anything I could do, but I did go and get her medical attention, and allowed them to get married and gave them a place to stay. Good. So then the attacks start happening. Attack number 1 was by the Northerners. They're like the less of the two evils of the rebels. The Northerners will come, mess things up, and leave. The Southerners are dangerous. They're into harm, I should say. Northerners come once, Southerners come again. Then the first time the Southerners come, America's running for her life because she was trying to get out of the palace. She was already outside. She needed some air. She had just finished having a conversation with Chris. Their conversation was interesting, but I will not spoil that for you. But America has to run for her life because things have been fired. The Southerners, Maxim tries to run after her, but his father was like, no, we need to get you safe and all that. She runs into the woods, spend the night in the woods. Her legs are scratched and bruised, and she's physically not okay. The guards find her. Aspen finds her. He was like, what happened? Everybody's happy that she's alive, and that was that attack. So they've already had 2 attacks in this book alone. They had a few other ones in the first book. So after the attack, the girls find, so now we're down to 5 girls after the attack because Marley has been disqualified and canned from the select. So now we're down to 5. The girls find out that they have to do 2 assignments. They have to meet with diplomacies from other countries, and they have to work in teams. America and Chris were put together, then Natalie, Cecily, and Elise were the other team. And that was okay. So now Chris and America have built up a new friendship after working together, but they are the most 2 popular. It's really going to come down to those 2 to be chosen for the one because he has a relationship with both of them. And Chris is like, I really love him. If you don't want to be with him, let me know. And all of this craziness. And Maxim's realizing that the whole Halloween situation and Marley getting caned because she was disloyal, disfaithful, and she broke some laws by being with Carter, and America feeling like Maxim had something to do with that. That's how their relationship has changed. He's now into Chris, but he still wants to be with America. So then an attack has happened in New Asia, which is a country that Ilya has a relationship with, and one of the girls is from New Asia, which is Natalie. So the prince and the king go off to New Asia to see if they can stop this war that is going on. But we still have to worry about the rebels. They come back, everything seemed to be fine, but then we find out that Natalie's sister has been taken by the rebel and she is no longer alive. So Natalie is officially out of the contest because Maxim has eliminated her so she can be with her family. So now we're down to Elise, Cecily, Chris, and America. The third and final attack happens on the palace. It's another southern attack. America and Maxim had happened to be together when this attack goes off. They didn't make it to the basement where you're supposed to be, so they had to hide out together in another secret room. While the attack was going on, nobody knew were they alive or not because the guard that was supposed to be watching out for them got hurt and he's no longer with them anymore. So they're in this room and they're having this conversation, and this is where it gets real. He's like, America, I love you. I want to be with you, but I don't trust you. And the reason why he doesn't trust America is because America did the most thing that she shouldn't have done. The girls had to give a presentation about what they would change or what kind of programs would they start if they become princess/queen. And America spills country secrets on live national television that Maxim has shared with her because he felt as though they were confidants, friends, and all that. And they talk about these things. They have real deep conversations. And she spills them on national television, which makes the king mad. And he was like, I can't trust you because things I've told you, you have told the world, even though you weren't supposed to. After everything I've done, I love you, but at this point, I can't trust you. And yes, I have developed feelings for Chris because I know she truly loves me and really wants to be here. You've been questioning, do you want to be here since day one? I've given you all the time that I can, and the king has actually called for America to leave. So she thinks she's going to be the next one to go home. Maxim's like, I want you to stay here, but I don't think you can because of my father, and you have broken my trust. I'm not going to eliminate you, but you know my father has eliminated you after you spilled country secrets on national television. And they have this long conversation about how they love each other and want to be with each other and some other details I will not spill. And America is packing to leave because she knows the king has already eliminated her. Maxim has told his father that it's his selection, it's his choice. No, she's not leaving, but you know, the king overpowers. And then America finds out, because they're stuck in this room, that Maxim has been hurt by his father physically. And he was like, you can't tell anyone, don't say anything, nothing. So as she's packing to leave, the king stops her and she realizes she wants to be here. And the king is like, well, I don't think you should, and I will make this competition hard for you, but if you stay, just know that I'm coming for you and you better watch your step. So America decides to stay. Maxim still wants to be with America, but he won't choose her if he can't trust her, and he knows that if she makes any wrong step, his father is going to be all over it. So America, if she really wants to be with Prince Maxim, she needs to get her act together and be trustworthy. And if Maxim tells her something, don't spill it. Trust him that he knows what he's doing, and trust the fact that he really loves you. Because he doesn't want to be with Chris. Chris is just his second option. But he trusts Chris now more than he trusts America. So that's basically what happens in the book. So the elite is over and we're down to 4 girls. The next book in the selection series is The One. I am currently not reading The One. The book that I am currently reading is my book of the month for August, which is called When We Were Bright and Beautiful by Jillian Meadow. I will be reading The One after I read When We Were Bright and Beautiful by Jillian Meadow. So I do have The One. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the elite. Did you think any of this was going to happen? Are you happy with the 4 girls that are left? And do you think that America will end up with Prince Maxim? Because she has finally let Aspen go. She realized she was only holding on to Aspen for comfort. So remember, I'm always thinking of you. Sending my love and bye for now. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. In today's video, we are going to do the review for Kiera Cass' The One. The One is the 3rd book in the selection series, and if you have been keeping up my videos, I have a whole selection playlist that covers a deep dive one and a review of book 2. So we are on 3, and all I have to say about this book is a lot of things go down. We find out who Prince Max chooses. There's a lot of attacks on the palace, and some characters are no longer with us. So there was a lot of dramatic things that happened in the book. But let me read you the back of the back of the book. Says the time has come for one winner to be crowned. When she was chosen to compete in the selection, America never dreamed she would find herself anywhere close to the crown or to Prince Maxim's heart. But as the competition ends, but as the end of the competition approaches and threat outside the palace walls grow more vigorous, America realizes just how much she stands and how hard she'll have to fight for the future she wants. Now, if you like a good love triangle, and if you're keeping up love triangle 1 for the selection in The One, the love triangle America, Aspen, and America and Prince Maxim come head, because only one girl can win Prince Maxim's heart. So we are down to America, Cecily, and Chris. Now, if you know me, Chris and America have been friends ever since lost Marley, and everybody knows following along, Cecily is not my favorite person based off of things she has done in book 1, but book 3 shows Cecily's growth, and it kind of made me like her in the end, but it also made me sad because the attacks from the north and the southerners have been unknown. These are the rebels that don't like the whole caste. Caste system is a system about your economic status. It tells you jobs you have and all of those things. If you are 1, 2, or 3, you are well off and good to go. If you are 4 through 8, you have a lot of struggles, and people don't like the system. It seems a little oppressive to me when you think about it. But the love triangle comes to an head because it's time for America to choose. Maxim can't wait any longer because he has to crown the next princess, and Aspen can't wait because he feels like America has been tied to this selection, has ruined their relationship. But America wouldn't be in this selection if it wasn't for Aspen. Aspen told her to go. Aspen broke up with her before she even knew if she made it into the selection, even though her parents bribed her to be in the selection as well. But Aspen played a part in it. So Aspen ruined his own relationship. And you want to know why Aspen ruined his own relationship for America? Go back to my selection series book chat. Find that out. We go deep into Aspen's details. But now Aspen worked in the palace. And Maxim still doesn't know that the relationship that America always told him about is with Aspen. He still thinks it's somebody back from her hometown. He doesn't know that the guy that she's stuck on working in the palace. So when the Northerners and the Southerners come, the Northerners, they are not like the dangerous rebels. They're more peaceful, but then they still do things. But the Southerners are the dangerous ones. They come fully dangerous, come full on attack. The very first chapter of this book starts off attack, and there's attacks throughout. But the hardest thing in this book is when America's father dies. For me, that is the hardest because no child wants their father. Her father had a heart attack. She had the selection days, and then you get to see her family dynamic play out now that her father's gone. And when she arrives back at palace, there are still more attacks, but she learns one thing about her father when he dies is that he is technically a part of Northern rebels. She never knew that. She found this out based off a necklace that he owned. He wrote each of his kids a letter telling you the letters in this book will make you cry. Not only the letters from America's father to all his children and his wife, but the letters that Prince Maxim wrote to America while she was away handling her dad's funeral, which he did offer to go with her to the funeral and be there for her grieving process, but Maxim's father said no. And then we get to Chris. We also find out that Chris is a part of the Northern Rebels, and that was the only one that she entered the selection. She really didn't come to fight Prince Max, even though she made it look bad. But she finds that out because America recognizes her same necklace that her father wore in his letter. So she wants to go tell Maxim this, but the only reason she wants to do this is because she ruined her chance with Prince Maxim because her and Aspen got caught and Max like, I can't do this anymore. I've tried to love and lying to the guy that you told me you were in love with and wanted to leave or has been in the palace all the time. As we've grown all this closer, have you messing with him the whole time? He always felt like America with her distance or keeping him at a distance, couldn't put his finger on it. But when he saw them snuggled up outside her room, he lost it, and he had every right. Because if you would have just honest with him from the beginning, there wouldn't have been such a big blow-up debacle about the whole situation. So then he tells America, I'm not choosing you, I'm choosing Chris. But he was coming to propose to America. And then Chris is standing there like, how could you do this? I want to be with him, and she was happy about that. But before they could even announce who he was choosing, he was going to choose Chris. Because America lied to him about Aspen and found them together. But they were only really saying their goodbyes because Aspen is now in love with her maid, Lucy. And then they realized they couldn't be together after they met the Northerner that actually came to the palace. There's a big detail about that. But the Northerners did come to talk to Prince Max specifically and said, we'll do anything to help get to the end and all of those things. You'll have to read more about that in the book. But when they come to being announced as the one, there's a big attack palace, but this time it's the Southerners. Now the Southerners are the dangerous ones. They don't care who they hurt in the home. So it takes over the palace, and America is trying to fight her way. Aspen's trying to get her to safety, but then Maxim's like, get her to safety, don't worry about me or whatever. But then Maxim gets shot, and she's like, no, I love you. And they kiss and all that, and they decide they love each other and gonna be together. And then he's like, take her to safety now, I'll be okay. And she was like, I'm not leaving him. It's like a whole love scene, tragic, beautiful scene. I really want this to be a TV show series or some kind of movie because the one needs to be a movie. But I did hear that the selection is possibly turning the next series. I really hope that happens. But after the whole attack, America finally wakes up. What happened to her attack with Maxim, and she sees him, what happened to him, because she don't know if he lived or died after he got shot. But then she sees Aspen in the infirmary, and she was like, where is Maxim? And he was like, oh, the king. So the attack was more tragic because both of Max's parents died. And you already know the king and Maxim had like a strained relationship based off of things he has done to Max, but he truly, truly, truly loved her. So there was a lot of death in this book, and when she goes to Maxim, like, I love you, reach in the drawer, here's your ring, and they get married. And then there's an epilogue, but also in the attack, Cecily died. And y'all, I know I didn't like Cecily in the first book, and I gave her a hard time in the second book, but in the third book, you could see how much Cecily really changed into a person, and it made me sad because I felt like her story, if they would have kept her in the book, would have been so deep in the other book. There are 3 more books to this selection. The last 3 books are Happily Ever After, which is a compilation of 4 novellas put into one book where you learn about Maxim's previous life before he started his selection, and you learn what happened to previous characters that have left the selection. You find out how their futures turned out, and you get a little more insight to America's life with Maxim after they're married, and Aspen's life, Lucy is America's mate. And you find out what happens to Marley. And then after that, we have The Heir in the last book in the Select Crown. So we have 3 more books left series. I am enjoying the series. I will be ranking 3 books I read in August in my TBR wrap up, which is the next video you will see after the video comes out. If you want to know what I am reading currently a book by Colleen Hoover. You know I've read 3 books by her before, but now I'm reading already. And if you have not seen my book of the month choice video, that was the previous video I've done. Go check that out if you want to know what I was the month. And guys, that completes the video. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you are reading currently. And remember, I am always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now.